Greetings to our Bay Path community. Thank you for joining us today for the second in our Spotlight series on students. Today with me, I'm joined by Amanda Womeldorf, who is in our Physician's Assistant program, her second year, and she has been on an amazing journey. When you hear her passion, you will also want to be a physician's assistant. And we couldn't be more thrilled, Amanda, that you're here with us today. And we're so looking forward to hearing your story, your journey, your aspirations, and any thoughts that you might have. So our first question is, I'd like to introduce you to the rest of our school. So just share with us for a few minutes a little bit about you, Amanda.
Hi, President Doran. Thank you so much for having me on. My name is Amanda Womeldorf, and I'm a second-year PA student here at Bay Path University in my clinical rotations portion of the program. I grew up here in Westfield, Massachusetts, and went to UMass Amherst for my undergraduate education and majored in kinesiology. I took 2 years off and moved out to Boston, working at Beth Israel, and moved back here to Western Massachusetts to continue my graduate education at Bay Path.
And we're so glad you did. So Amanda, did you have a moment, sort of an aha moment where you said, I need to be a physician's assistant? And can you tell us about that?
Yeah, funny enough, I did, which most people cannot say. So at the beginning of my high school education, I participated in a Doctor for a Day program, which essentially took everyone who was interested in science and brought them to a hospital and paired them up with a doctor to shadow for the day. All the doctors were taken, and I was paired up with a physician assistant. I had never heard of the profession before. I met her. She was charismatic, intelligent, and kind of embodied everything I wanted to be. She told me what a PA was and a little bit about her career and why she liked it. And, I liked that she was flexible and she could work in different specialties, and she was trained with the medical model, and that she didn't have to go to school for as long as the doctor did. So I kind of kept that in the back of my mind. And as I continued my education and my work career, I just kind of dove into the medical field, and I didn't find anything else that more aligned with my interests than a physician assistant. And so luckily I never changed my mind.
Luckily for us. When you were at Beth Israel and you said you worked there for a couple of years in between undergraduate and grad school, was there something there that stood out for you in particular about that work experience?
Yeah, so I was drawn to the emergency department first and foremost. Just, it was kind of a well-oiled machine. Everyone was working together and under chaotic stress for the better good of the patient. And I was exposed to every different profession in the medical field, and nothing else stood out to me more than a physician assistant. I wanted to have the capability to diagnose and to treat patients, but I also liked being able to work in a team and bounce things off my peers. So that particularly stood out to me there, just how well and efficient everyone worked together and the PA's role within that team.
So it sounds like you've already had this great experience building a community, being part of a community. And I know that when the pandemic was upon us in the spring, that you had the opportunity to build a community, a volunteer community, and serve some of the COVID patients. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. So during the beginning of the pandemic, everything was kind of put on hold. We were just starting our clinical year. Typically, we would have a full 12-month long clinical year with 1 month off. So our month off kind of became everyone's first month because no clinical sites were taking us. They gave us some virtual patient encounters during that time, but I felt like I wanted to kind of help out more. So when the opportunity was presented to us to volunteer at a COVID tent, I immediately jumped on it. What it was Healthcare Friends of the Homeless. So they essentially provided a place for the homeless population in Springfield to quarantine and stay safe and under supervision while they had COVID. And the greater goal was to prevent the spread of COVID in the homeless shelters and amongst the population. So it kind of just gave them a safe place under medical supervision to quarantine during that time. So I learned a lot there.
Amanda, what a public service. I mean, really, thank you so much. It's just such an embodiment of Bay Path and a testament to your character. So thank you so much.
Thank you. I felt like I was the lucky one to be able to help them and, continue my medical education even when everything was put on pause. So it was a great experience.
So after that experience, did you have the opportunity to do other clinical rotations? And would you share those with us and your
Yeah.
thoughts?
So since then, I've been very fortunate to have in-person clinical rotations, with the exception of one online, which our faculty had to work extremely hard for because most of our, structured clinical sites had barriers due to the pandemic where they were not accepting students. So our faculty kind of bent over backwards on many occasions to make sure we got those in-person clinical rotations. And I'm fortunate to say that I've been going about my clinical rotations. I only have 3 more left now, and they've all been a great experience. So I'm very grateful that I'm on track to graduate on time and I've gotten this huge part of my education. So,
Well, congratulations. And it's due to your resiliency, your perseverance, your dedication to your profession. Just fantastic. So I heard you say that you're graduating in May.
correct.
Have you thought about what's next? And I'm sure you have, because I can see what a
Yeah.
planner you are and a leader and just an empowered PA. So
Yeah.
tell us
As
what.
you can see, I am definitely a planner. So, also, when I was drawn to the emergency department in my clinical experience pre-PA school, I have, been going about my clinical rotations with an open mind. I'm actually in my emergency medicine rotation now, and I'm completely still in love and know that that's what I would like to do post-graduation. So I'm going to apply for emergency medicine positions all across the country and take the right job for me.
Well, we are so lucky to have you as a nation. We need physician's assistants more than ever, and we need physician's assistants like you, committed to patients, committed to care, committed to quality. So Amanda, thank you so much for sharing your experience with us. And I know I speak on behalf of all the faculty and staff and your peers to say that we wish you the very best over the next couple of months, because you haven't left us yet. And we'll see you at graduation.
Thank you so much, and thank you for having me tonight.